Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथा मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today is a very special day. We are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 18. Let's read first 10 verses. I'll share the screen. Just looking who are available. One sec. Okay. So do let me know if you see the screen. So first we read the translations of first 10 verses of this chapter, because we won't be able to complete the full chapter in this session. And yeah. Just looking who can read. So maybe Pratik Prabhu, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
We can't hear.
Text 1. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Bharadarasa, the son of Dharmaraja, rules the tract of land known as Bhadra Swavarsa, just as Lord Shiva worships Shankrasana in Ilvrata Varsa. Bhadrasrava, accompanied by his intimate servants and all the residents of the land, worships the plenary expansion of Vasudeva, known as Hayasirsa. Lord Hayasirsa is very dear to the devotees, and he is the director of all religious principles. Fixed in the topmost trance, Bhadrasrava and his associates offer their respectful obeisance to the Lord and chant the following prayers with careful pronunciation. Text 2. The ruler Bhadrasrava and his intimate associates utter the following prayer. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all religious principles, who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. Again and again, we offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Alas, how wonderful it is that the foolish materialist does not heed the great danger of impending death. He knows that death will surely come, yet he is nevertheless callous and neglectful. If his father dies, he wants to enjoy his father's property, and if his son dies, he wants to enjoy his son's possessions as well. In either case, he heedlessly tries to enjoy material happiness with the acquired money. O unborn one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, as do other logicians and philosophers. In trance, they realize the factual position of this world and they preach the truth as well. Yet, even though even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusionary energy, this is your own wonderful pastime. Therefore, I can understand that your illusionary energy is very wonderful, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Text 5. O Lord, Although you are completely detached from the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world and are not directly affected by these activities, they are all attributed to you. We do not wonder at this, for your inconceivable energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all causes. You are the perfect principle in everything, although you are separate from everything. Thus, we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconceivable energy. Text 6. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas, took them down to the planet of Rasatala. The Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahma when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never fails. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, Lord Narasimhadeva resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsa. In the seventh canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlada Maharaja caused the Lord to assume the form of Narasimhadeva. Prahlada Maharaja, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all the good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of this demonic family. Lord Narasimhadeva is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlada Maharaja, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsa, worships Lord Narasimhadeva by chanting the following mantra. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Narasimhadeva, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demonic desires for fruitive activities in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be paced. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibration enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Gangas diminishes bodily contaminations and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate it with devotees to quickly perfect his life? All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities, even if he adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his life and relatives, of his maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter to the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to the material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low class couple. One who is attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Therefore, O demons, give up the so called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Narasimhadeva, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in life, family life, is the root cause of material attachment in indefatigable desires. Morosenses, morosenses, anger, despair, fear, and a desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. Sukadeva Goswami continued, in the tract of land called Kutumala Varsa, Lord Vishnu lives in the form of
Yeah, I think
Kamadeva.
Prabhu, we'll cover 14 verses today,
Okay.
and then we will see if we have time. Then we will go through the because from 15th verse it is Mahalakshmi. She is worshipping Lord. That is what is described by Shukadeva Goswami.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. वाम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्ता काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः Hare Krishna. So let's go through these 14 very important verses of this particular chapter. This is coming after the 17th chapter, where in the 17th chapter um, there is a description about how the descent of river Ganges, yeah, is described there, and there is also description about the different kinds of varshas, their rulers who live in those varshas in that tract of land, and who is the preceding deity. In 17th chapter, we read that Lord Shiva is the key inhabitant of Ilavrita Varsha, and he worships Lord Sankarshana. Yeah. So in this chapter 18, we are going to see about the Lord um, and in Jambudvipa, the residents of Jambudvipa in different varshas, whom they offer their wonderful prayers. And this also helps us. Why? Because this helps exclusively to understand that we are not talking only about a practice that we may have followed for few thousand of years. We are talking about right from creation. The main principle has been always to worship the Lord, to offer prayers, and of course there are one who have not done what happens. So in that we see in the first verse. Yeah, let's go through that. Yeah. श्रीसुक उवाच तथा च भद्राश्रवा नाम धर्मसुतः तत्कुलपतयः पुरुषा भद्राश्रव वर्षे साक्षात् भगवतो वासुदेवस्य प्रियं तनुं धर्मात्म हयशीर्ष अभिदानं परमेन समाधिना सन्निधाप्येदम् अभिगृह्णन्ति उपधावन्ति. Padavanti means worshipped. And Srila Sukadeva Goswami is saying that in Bhadrashrava, the son of Dharmaraj, the ruler, um, he rules the tract of land known as Bhadrashrava Varsha. Just as Lord Shiva worships Sankarshana in Ilavrata, Bhadrashrava, accompanied by his intimate servants and all residents of the land, worship the plenary expansion of Vasudev, known as Hayashirsha. So here the Lord is worshipped. The Lord is worshipped by son of Dharmaraj, Bhadrashrava. And whom is he worshipping? Lord Vasudeva. In what form? Haya Shirsha. Haya Shirsha is very dear to the devotees, and he is the director of all religious principles. Fixed in the topmost trance, Bhadrashrava and his associates offer their respectful obeisances to the Lord and chant the following prayers with careful pronunciation. If this was a session where we would have had face to face, I would have also encouraged that we recite this verse together. Um, but otherwise, please make a note of the verse number, and yeah, these are the prayers. Yeah, and also we can remember this prayer essence and understanding of this prayer, and be yeah, blessed. So Bhadrashrav Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Dharmatma Vishodhanaya Nama Iti. This is the mantra that in Bhadrashrava Varsha the residents, inhabitants are praying. What is the prayer means? It is that the ruler of Bhadrashrava and his intimate associates utter the following prayer. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, reservoir of all religious principles. Dharmatma Vishodhanaya. And what do they do? The Lord is the reservoir of all religious principles, who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. Again and again we offer our prayers. Uh, Namo Namah Iti. We offer our obeisances unto the Lord. So, in the purport, Prabhupada straightaway points out one kind of people. There are two kinds of people. First kind is the foolish materialist persons do not know how they are being controlled and punished at every step by the laws of nature. So sometimes when we come across people in our day-to-day life and we are asking, how are you doing? They say, all fine, all good, perfect, and all these. But in reality, just like a doctor very well knows, everyone is one way or the other a patient, whether he's a physically uh, affected or mentally affected. So similarly, saintly person, spiritualist, he can understand that it's not possible. Why? Because we are living in a world where there is the influence of material modes of nature, and because of the influence of that nature, so it cannot be that someone can be all perfect. Why? Because the mechanism of this world, the laws of nature, such a way that one is controlled and punished, but one is not accepting it. First class of people are there who think that we are the controllers and there is no controller beyond us. After all, people have given names like God or super power or light or energy and all these things, attributing so that we can have a sense of fear, and with the sense of fear then we can be controlled. As such, there is no God. Yeah, in fact, people also, there is a school of thought, they say that uh, you devotees, what we think is that the Lord is the source of everything, he is the cause of all causes, he has created everything, and then we are also being created by him. Rather, um, there is a school of thought which says that no, in fact, I think God we have created. We have created the God. We have created the concept of God. We have, so in a way, it means that we are God, or man is greater than God. So otherwise, if we wouldn't discuss about God, then there is no creation of God at all. So which means our discussion about something and we attributing him as God is our creation, so there is no God. So this is one way of thinking. They think they are very happy in the conditioned state of material life, not knowing the purpose of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, those are called, Krishna is straight away saying, we don't have to worry too much. Sometimes, as a devotees, we may be confused when we come across such people. Oh, yeah, he has such a clarity of mind, and I'm not having such a clarity. Maybe he is so confident, he is so convinced, he has complete conviction. Maybe atheism is the right thing, but no, Krishna is declaring such people are called mudhas. These Mudas do not know that if they want to purify themselves, they must worship Lord Vasudeva by performing penances and austerities. This purification is the aim of human life. This life is not meant for blind indulgence in sense enjoyment. So, in the human form, the living being must engage himself in Krishna consciousness to purify his existence. This is very important. What is that? One who is a fool, he cannot do all, but one who starts awakening his real consciousness, he should engage in what? Two things. It is penances and austerities. uh, Penances. It is mentioned that tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam sudhyet. Rishabhadev is telling to his sons in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the fifth canto, in the starting, he is saying, instructing his sons, he is saying that in the human form of life, one must undergo all kinds of austerities to purify his existence. Uh, Yasmad Brahma Saukhyam Tva Anantam. We all are looking for unlimited happiness, though we don't know whether we will use it or not. But if someone asks, do you want only for a day of happiness, or for a year, or for a lifetime, or beyond life? We all opt for lifetime, no, life after lifetime. So that is possible only when we are connected to spiritual uh, element, attribute, that is called Brahma Saukyam. Brahma. This is not, Prabhupada mentions very nicely that this Brahma Saukyam is spiritual happiness. It is unobstructed happiness. And how is it this possible? By two principles that are mentioned above. One is the penances, the second one is austerities. Not for one own self, but they must worship Lord Vasudeva. It's not like, okay, Yeah, we may come across yogis sometimes who are very much dedicated. If we see from the school of Buddhism, we see focus on your breathe or focus on nothing. That is also austerity, that is also penance, but that's not uh, ultimate. That is still a sense of mm, uh, immuning ourselves against the challenges of the material world, but not connecting us to the spiritual entity, the supreme Purushottama, so that we can experience uh, um, unlimited bliss. So it is said, Yasmad Brahma Saukyam Tva Anantam. We are all seeking happiness, but because of our ignorance and foolishness, we cannot know what unobstructed happiness really is. We want, but we don't know what it is. Huh? Although we may get some so called happiness in this material world, that happiness is temporary. The foolish materialist cannot understand. Sometimes, yeah, if if we rewind our own life a few years back, how desperate are we for all material things? That is, now when we see, we think, hey, how foolish we have been, how short-tempered we were for uh, acquiring name, fame, or our desires fulfilled, and all these things. Prahlad Maharaj says, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan, means merely for temporary materialistic happiness. These rascals, Vimudhan, not just Mudha. Mudha means only rascal. Vimudha means the best among rascals. These rascals are making huge arrangements, and thus they are baffled life after life. So there are two kinds of happinesses that are described in the purport Prabhupada is bringing. One is Brahma Saukyam, second one is Maya Saukyam. Maya Saukyam, Maya Sukham is something, then the name itself is saying it is appears to be Sukha, but it's not really Sukha. Maya Saukyam. Brahma Saukyam means Brahman means truth, the absolute truth. Um, the absolute truth means it cannot be relative. It cannot be that, okay, by doing this, maybe you people are happy. People who are Krishna conscious, people who are Hare Krishna movement, they are happy, but we are not happy. No, if one takes to this process, everyone all over the world, all over the universe, this is also we will see in the verse number 9 that everyone will be happy. One has to engage in the right process. Huh? Then it says, Aho Vichitram Bhagavad Vichestitam. It's so wonderful. Bhagavad Vichestitam means the pastimes of the Lord. What kind of pastime is mentioned here is very nice. It is said, Aho Vichitram Bhagavad Vichestitam Grinantam Janoyam Hi Mission Na Pasyati Dhyayan Asad Yarhi Vikrama Sevitum Nirhatya Putram Pitaram Jijish Jiji Jijivishati. Jijivishati. It's so amazing to see. It says, Alas, how wonderful it is that the foolish materialist does not heed the great danger of impending death. In fact, we often refer to this that when Yudhishthir, this comes in Mahabharata, when um, Yudhishthir sends his brothers to get look for water in the forest. Yeah? One by one they went, and they wanted to collect water in a lotus leaf and bring it. First they wanted to drink, but immediately the yaksha stopped them and said, don't dare to touch the water, but if you want, you answer my questions first and then you can drink water. And then there is, yeah, the four brothers didn't care for this heed, and then they all died. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj comes, he sees, oh, what happened to my brothers? Uh, in great pain, he was worried, and then the Yaksha says, okay, what happened is this. But if you can answer the questions. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj said yes, and then he started. Among them, there is this one question that what is amazing thing in the world? The amazing thing is the world that um, everyone sees that their relatives, yeah, they die, but they are not so much keen on protecting themselves, finding the way out of this cycle of birth and death, or In simple words, Dharmaraj says it's amazing to see a person who sees others dying. He thinks that, oh, he may not be affected. So here again we see that this is the prayers that the inhabitants of Bhadrashrava are saying. How wonderful is that the foolish materialist does not heed the great danger of impending death. He knows that death will surely come, yet he is nevertheless callous and neglectful. Uh, and if his father dies, he wants to enjoy his father's property. If his son dies, he wants to enjoy his son's possessions as well. In either cases, he heedlessly tries to enjoy material happiness with acquired money. This is not so hard to understand. We see so many cases, legal cases, disputes, all these come based on property. One is so keen to acquire the property from in the rightful way. We see this is my right to inherit the property. After all this is material property. We think we get happiness. We think otherwise, oh, I may not, I may suffer. So at least let me get all this as much as possible when it's possible. So material happiness means to have good facilities for eating, sleeping, sexual intercourse, and defense. Within this world, the materialistic persons live only for these four principles, uh, not caring for impending danger of death. Sri Sukadev Goswami says, how wonderful are these pastimes of material happiness transacted by the will of the Lord. See, why it is so wonderful, when it is so disgusting, why it is mentioned so wonderful is because in fact, it is done with the allowance of the Lord. And how can Lord allow this? Most of the time, atheistic people are saying, na, all, all, what do you call this? Calamities, all disturbances of the world are happening. If you say God is there, why are these happening in first place? Did Lord lose the control of the world that He created? If He lost the control, then He is not God. Yeah? Because uh, the qualities of Lord should be supreme controller. Supreme enjoyer everyone can become. No, even that is also not possible. But at least supreme controller. No, then he if he is not supreme controller, then he is not God. So in this way, so many people come up with so many uh, speculative arguments. Sukadev Goswami is saying such leelas that are happening is also are wonderful. Huh? Why? Because the Lord is allowing them to happen. In other words, materialistic persons want to commit all kinds of sinful activities, but because without the sanction of the Lord, no one can do anything. Why does the Supreme Lord permit such sinful activities? The Supreme Lord does not want any living entity to act sinfully, and He begs him through His good conscience to refrain from sins. So the Lord is instructing in many ways. Yeah, we may take it easy, just like a guru is telling to his disciple, uh, this is what you should do. But if the disciple is very casual, the potent of the instruction is not appreciated by the disciple. So similar here, what is happening is the Lord is providing in the form of Vedas how to lead a religious life, and if one is advanced, how to lead a life so that he can get out of this cycle of birth and death, and everything is there. But when someone insists upon acting sinfully, the Supreme Lord gives him sanction to act at his own risk. Matta smritir gnanam apohanam cha. Bhagavad Gita 15:15 it says, hmm, Vedashta sarvam ahameva vedya. So even if one takes to Bhagavad Gita, sorry, to Vedas, Lord is saying that after all, the essence of all Veda is to know me. Uh, that is the purpose. No one can do anything without the sanction of the Lord, but He is so kind that when the conditioned soul persists doing something, the Lord permits the individual soul to act at his own risk. Own risk. Why? Because we want to be independent. We want to work out independently. We want to enjoy independently. We want to be happy independently. When so much independence is demanded, just like we can see in our own day-to-day life, we can see a child is under the protection of the parents, but once he grows, once he develops individuality, the parents are leaving it in the hands of the individual to take his decisions, but at his risk. But of course, if the child Doesn't matter whether he is 10 years old, 20 years old, 30, 40, 50. Still, if he has great respect to his parents, yeah, and elderly people, this is what is Vedic culture, that it doesn't matter how old one grows, but he always offer respects to the seniors, offers respect to the parents, family members. So through this respect, what is he doing? It means that he is abiding to hear to them, yeah, and then through this process, what is he doing? He is not taking a risk. Why? Because, yeah, he is under the experienced guidance. Hmm. One who is following the guru, here we are talking about, uh, then he has no risk at all. Why? Because the risk is taken care. Why? Because he is not speculating. Why? Because he is just following what the guru is telling. That way he is safe. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is further element is, it is usually seen that sun always outlives their fathers in other planetary system. Yeah, when we were coming across Chitraketu's pastime, yeah, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, yeah, it was that the mother, sorry, wife of Chitraketu, she was so much undergoing pain. How come? How come that my child died while his parents, yeah, mother and father, both are still alive? How can it be? How cruel is the Lord? Yeah, so this is what. Usually, in the heavenly planets, in higher planetary systems, usually that doesn't happen. But in Kali Yuga, it can happen. However, on this planet Earth, a son often dies before his father, and the materialistic father is pleased to enjoy the possession of his son. Neither the father nor the son can see the reality that both of them are awaiting death. When death comes, however, all the plans for material enjoyment are finished. This is what Prabhupada ends the third purport, third verse. वदन्ति विश्वं कवयः स्म निश्वरं पश्यन्ति च ध्यात्मविदो विपश्चिता तथापि मुह्यन्ति तवाज मायया सुविस्मितं कृत्यम् अजं नतोस्मितम्. He's saying, O unborn one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, as do other logicians and philosophers. They also say this is perishable. In trance, they realize the factual position of this world and they preach the truth as well. So, we are talking about learned Vedic scholars. We're talking about that class of devotees who are scholars, who have understood the Vedas, and they are also well positioned with in logic and so Gyanis, yeah, we are talking about that Gyani. Yet even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusory energy. Though one is free, one is free from this ignorance, still they are bewildered by your illusory energy. So in the previous one, it was about karmis. How amazing is that the karmis are thinking, hey, nothing will happen to me. I can enjoy. After all, this is all mine, my precious, my precious. And then here we are talking about Gyanis. This is, yet even they sometimes bewildered by your illusory energy. They sometimes think, hey, I understood my Gyan, my knowledge, my is this, but it didn't work this time. This is your own wonderful pastime. Therefore, I can understand that your illusory energy is very wonderful, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, not only does the illusory energy of the Lord act on the conditioned soul within the world, but sometimes it also acts on most advanced learned scholars. Even if one has advanced so much, there is always a sense, there is always a risk. What is that? As soon as someone thinks that I am this material body, aham mameti, huh, and everything in relation with this material body is mine, he is in illusion. This illusion caused by the material energy acts especially on the conditioned souls, but it sometimes also acts on liberated souls as well. So, which means one who has understood that this one should be unaffected by the modes of material nature and he is practicing such a vrata. Uh, Vrata. Drida Vrata means one who is not uh, um, mm, not a freestyle devotee. A freestyle devotee means today I will do, tomorrow I don't know. If you come across some people, hey, how many rounds are you chanting? Prabhuji, I'm chanting, but between 2 to 4 rounds, um, but definitely one round, sometimes. Uh, so much. That is not Dhrida-vrata. Dhrida-vrata means one who is fixed up. He is saying, okay, at least this many rounds. Uh, Whether if someone is a newbie who is starting, if he's saying, I'm starting with four rounds, may the heaven fall, but still one does 4 rounds. That is Dhrida-vrata. So here, Prabhupada is saying, even a such liberated soul is a person who has sufficient knowledge of this material world and is therefore unattached to the bodily conception of life. But because of the association with the material mode for very long time, after all, right? If you are controlling on sugar, um, diet, how long you want to be unless you are convinced that sugar is harmful? There is this knowledge, everything is there, but if the environment is always there which is around you, you may sneak some sweets or some snacks, something which is sweet, and then yeah, it's quite dangerous. Even one is dhrida vrata, that dhrida can be affected. Why? Because of that environment that one is. So because of what? Because of the association of modes of material nature for very long time. Even liberated souls sometimes become captivated by the illusory energy due to inattentiveness in the transcendental position. So, one, if he gives even small room, that he is not taking shelter of the Lord, that he is not, if he forgets for a moment that he is servant of the Lord, Maya Devi, illusory energy is so powerful that it will immediately pull us, and then we are affected. It doesn't matter how much knowledge we have, but that moment, the moment of test, the moment of checking how drid, how strong we are, how established we are. If we are not, then we are gone. Hmm. So Krishna is saying in 7:14, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. It is not so easy. It is very difficult. Huh? Yeah. Daivi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. This other energy, it is this divine energy of mind consisting of three modes of nature. Huh? Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Is very difficult, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross it, beyond it. What does that mean is only devotees have a chance to survive in the test. Only devotees have a chance to make it to the end. What do you call this last line? The Lord is always prepared to excuse his devotees, but if a devotee takes advantage of Lord's leniency, we may think, okay, and purposefully commits mistakes again and again, the Lord will certainly punish him by letting him fall down into the clutches of illusory energy. Sometimes we may see, hey, why devotees are so bad? Sometimes, hey, come on, they are not devotees because they have this qualities, because they have done these things. Let's not worry about them because Lord, uh, Lord will take care. He is the one who is excusing the devotees, and he is the one who punishes the devotees based on what perfect uh, judgment the Lord makes. We are not qualified, we are not good at it. So let us leave it in the hands of the Lord, and make sure that we don't fall down. What does that mean? We always uh, be dependent in the mm, uh, uh, dependent in the shelter of the Lord. Sorry. Lord will certainly punish him by letting him fall down into the clutches of illusory energy. In other words, theoretical knowledge acquired by studying the Vedas is insufficient to protect one from the clutches of Maya. One must strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service. Then one's position is secure. Then Vishwodbhava sthana nirodha karmate hi akartur angikritam api apavrita yuktam na chitram tvayi karya karane sarvatmani yatri tikte cha vastutaha. It said, O Lord, although you are completely detached from the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world and are not directly affected by these activities, they are all attributed to you. Hmm? What does that mean? It means though you are detached from everything, yeah, but everything is attributed to you. What does that mean? That it is not the Big Bang. It is not the Big Bang through which everything happened. But there is a cause of all causes. It is mentioned here. We do not wonder at this, for your inconceivable energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all causes. You are the active principle in everything, although you are separate from everything. Thus, we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconceivable energy. Um, Vedan yugante tamasa tiraskritan rasatalad yo nr taranga vigraha pratyadade vai kavaye abhiyachate tasmai namaste avita te hitaya iti. It is said, when what happened? When at the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet Rasatal. The Lord appeared. Here you appeared. However, in this form, the Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahma. When he begged for them, I offer respectful obeisances unto the Lord, whose determination never fails. So, the Lord, one of the qualities is that he is very, very established. Here we see, just looking, stole, and okay. Yeah. Uh, Avitatha ihiyata. Sorry. Avitatha ihitaya, whose resolution never fails. So, Lord Matsya, however, protects the Vedic knowledge, and in due course of time, he again distributed through the medium of Lord Brahma. Uh, in that, Prabhupada is mentioning that although Vedic knowledge is imperishable, that is not the nature of the Vedas, it's imperishable. Within this material world, it sometimes manifests and sometimes not. When the people of this material world become too absorbed in ignorance, the Vedic knowledge disappears. Mm. And from the next, yeah, we are talking about 7th to 14th are the prayers offered by Prahlad Maharaj. In which Varsha it is? It is in the Hari Varsha. हरिवर्ष चापि भगवान् नरहरि रूपे रूपे नास्ते तद्रूप ग्रहण निमित्त उत्तरा उत्तरत्राभिधास्ये तद् दयितं रूपं महापुरुषगुणभाजनो महाभागवतो दैत्यदानवाकुल तीर्थीकरणशीलचरिता प्रह्लादो अवयव दानान्य भक्ति योगेन सह तद वर्ष पुरुषैर उपासते उपासते idam chadaharati. What is he chanting? He is chanting, uh, my dear king, Lord Narsimha resides in the tract of land known as Hari Varsha. In the 7th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad caused the Lord to assume the form of Narasimha. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demonic family. Lord Nrsimha is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsha, worships Lord Nrsimha by chanting the following mantra. Uh, in that, there is a nice purport for this verse number 7. Um, it is that Prabhupada is glorifying Jayadev Goswami's Dashavatara Stotra, where he mentions Keshava, Drita, Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagdisha Hare, or Keshava Dhrita Meena Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare in that, and Keshava Dhrita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. The word Jagad Isha refers to the proprietor of all the universes. Jagannath, right? The Lord of all universe. Jagad Isha, the proprietor of all universe. His original form is two-handed form Krishna. Uh, as stated in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakrasadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Shurabhir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam is the Adipurusham. Is mentioned. From this verse, we learn that Govinda or Krishna is the Adipurusha, the original person. The Lord has innumerable incarnations, exactly like the innumerable waves of a flowing river. But the original form is Krishna or Keshava. Sukadev Goswami refers to Narsimha Dev because of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was put into great distress, as we know, we will read also further. Apparently helpless before him, Prahlad Maharaj called on the Lord, who immediately assumed the form of Narasimha and protected. Although Krishna is the original person, one without a second, he assumes different forms uh, just to satisfy his devotees or to execute a specific purpose. Therefore, Jayadev Goswami always repeats the name Keshava, the original person of Godhead, in his prayers describing the Lord's different incarnations for different purposes. And we know we also are reciting this very often. 5:18:8 is a very important verse. Why? Because Prabhupada ends the purport also with this. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namastejas Tejase Avir Bhava Vajra Nakha Vajra Damshtra Karma Shayan Randhaya Randhaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuvishta Om Ksharom. It is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. We are all struggling in this material world, and this is a very nice prayer to seek protection. In the purport, Prabhupada starts with Sanat Kumar speaking to Maharaj Prithu. He is saying, Yad Pada Pankaja Palasa Vilasa Bhaktya Karma Shayan Grantitam Udgratan Yanti Shanta Tadvan Na Rikta Matayo Yathayo Pi Ruddha Shroto Ganastad Aranam Bhaja Vasudevam. He is saying, devotees always engage in service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from hard knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non devotees, the jnanis, yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in devotional service. So, Sanat Kumar is telling to Maharaj Prithu to engage in the service of what? Bhaja Vasudevam. Aranam Tam Aranam Bhaja Vasudevam, he is saying. And this is very important that every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter. I have so much desire. I want to enjoy. No, no, no. I am a devotee now. I don't have that. No. When we are not engaging ourselves in devotional service, to that degree, we are not yet devotee. No, come on. How can you say that? We need rest. After all, we need our minimum quota of sleep. We need um, um, minimum desires to be fulfilled. What are the minimum desires? I want to have very nice um, food, very tasty. As to my whether it is mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, doesn't matter. It should be satisfying. So in that way, one may come up with so many desires. Yeah, and even being devotee is not so easy. Why? Because these desires are bombarding upon us from inside and outside, and we need protection from inside and outside. Here is said, every in that way, one cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. But what is the way out? Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, Anya bhilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. But what is the best bargain we have is that we won't have to get disappointed. The nature is so strong, I am so weak, I am very insignificant. No, what we can do is we can engage ourselves in the service of the Lord in whatever ways we can. What is the way here? It says, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. One should render transcendental service to the Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit. This is what is called pure devotional service. Mm. Unless one is completely freed from all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in devotional service. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers. This is what Prabhupada is writing. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Nrsimhadev who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means soft cushion or bed. We are all attracted by these, right? So materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life, isn't it? So he was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee Prahlad Maharaj until Lord Narasimhadev killed him. So Prabhupada concludes this purport 8 saying, any devotee aspiring to be free of material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Narasimha as Prahlad Maharaj did in this verse. Clearly mentioned that it is in this way we take shelter, just like Prahlad Maharaj took shelter uh, at the lotus feet of Narasimhadev. Then we go to another very important. In fact, yeah, in fact, this first line is what we have. The pure bliss times is possible when we have this. That's why in our card you may have read in the bottom, Swastastu Vishwasya Kala Prasidatam. Dhyayantu Bhutani Shvam Mitodiya Manascha Badram Bhajata Dadukshade Avesyatam No Matir Api Ahektuki. It is said, may there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Very powerful prayer. In fact, yeah, I'll say very shortly. Mm. In fact, there is um, we may know Rabindra Swarup Prabhu, yeah, disciple, Prabhupada disciple. Yeah, once I think 2002, there was a conference because we know there was this twin tower which was blown by a radicalist terrorist attack on September 11th. Yeah, September 11th. So in on that case, what happened is His Grace Ravindra Swarup Prabhu took part in a special interfaith service of remembrance at this Washington National Cathedral. At that place, all religious practitioners from different religions, being an interfaith, were invited. There were five readings from Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Muslim, Islam, Christian traditions, and Rabindra Swarup Prabhu, he represented us. He was ISKCON GBC chairman at the time. So um, he represented, and then when his turn came, the verse that he picked and he recited was the same. He explained when he first recited the Sanskrit. uh, Raman Swarup Prabhu explained his choice of this verse. He said, this is Prahlad Maharaj prayer to Nrsimhadev for universal peace. It is extremely potent. He said, I became especially devoted to this prayer. That year, I was GBC chairman and I decided to perform especially for the welfare of ISKCON. He took a vrata. That vrata was a Drida vrata. What was that? Doing every day 64 rounds of chanting. It is not easy. When a devotee is so much engaged in service, yeah, being a GBC chairman, is then he barely will have time, but he took a vrat so that he can give his best in his service. He took a vrat of doing 64 rounds every day. And he said, beginning of every 16 rounds, he said, during that vrata, before beginning each set of 16 rounds, I recited this prayer. I also recited the Upanishadic prayer to Narsimhadev that precedes it. I realized more and more that this is an especially wonderful and potent prayer filled with wonderful benediction. He said so. Uh, he said he started this prayer first in Sanskrit. It felt wonderful to send Prahlad Maharaj words, beginning with the word Swasti, Swasti Astu, and out into this enormous volume of sculptured cathedral space. Yeah, and anyway, there is a further explanation what he has said. He said prayers are now offered by national leaders of the world faiths. This is what is done. So. Um, this is the potency. This is why, because this is the prayer that is offered by whom? By Prahlad Maharaj to Nrsingadev. For what? For universal peace. Not for peace of only ISKCON, not peace of only for my family, peace of my own life, so that I can enjoy more. No, that is not the intention. The intention was the universal peace. Prabhupada purport is very nice, elaborate. He starts already with glorification of Vaishnava. Yeah? Prahlad Maharaj, uh, being a great Vaishnava, only can think about universal compassion. He said, Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Just like a desiratory, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself but for all living entities, the gentle, envious, and mischievous, all kinds of people, whether one is submissive, whether one is inquisitive, whether one is radicalist, mischievous, doesn't matter. This is also the bhav of our Goswamis. In Shad Goswami prayers also, the Goswamis are glorified, but they didn't discriminate. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't discriminate. Nityananda Prabhu didn't discriminate. They always wanted to give out of their compassion, the love of Godhead. He always thought the welfare of mischievous persons like his father Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself, rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demonic father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavata Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. So, if we want to understand, if we want to be blessed by Srimad Bhagavatam, we should understand the importance of being non envious. This khala is so dangerous that when we are seeing other devotees progressing, what happens to me? No, the more moment we think like that, we will fall down. That itself, when we are feeling envious, then how can we pray for our own self? How can we pray for others? That's not possible. Hmm? So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Khala prasidatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in social dealings and can think of others' welfare. We have to understand that coming to Krishna consciousness and being in Kanishta Adhikari level will not serve the purpose. We want to uh, dive deeper so that we can advance to the Madhyama Adhikari. Of course, we don't claim that, hey, I am now Madhyama Adhikari, come on, everyone should bow down to me. The sense of Madhyama Adhikari means to be free from envy and be humble. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha Badram Bhajata Dadokshaje. This is the secret. If we want, after all, we all want to be purified. How can we? Manascha Badram Bhajata Adokshaje. We want to take shelter of Adokshaja. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Narasimha to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Narasimha, Hridaye Narasimha. Let Lord Narasimha Dev sit sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire universe. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Uh, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Lord, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure Nishkama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshastakam. Ai Nanda Tanaja Kinkaram Patitamam Vishme Bhavambado Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Dhuli Sadrashan Vichintaya. Even there we can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is he doing? He is asking. What is he asking? He is asking benediction. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me at as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In other prayers, Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatat Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai. So all these prayers are not aimless. Huh? They are with a request of attaining something. Huh? So when Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, after that what is he doing? Huh? He prays for a benediction from the Lord, but because he is also an exalted Vaishnav, he wants nothing for personal sense gratification. So the first desire expressed in this prayer is Swastyastu Vishwasya. Uh, Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. And the purport goes further. The difficulty is that Khala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kind of khala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantra, isn't it? We know this charmer, snake charmers, they have some mantra. Hmm? We may come across so many nice, nice leelas of Krishna and Radha, where Krishna always says, "Oh, the Radha, was it? I think Sachinandan Maharaj was giving example of this, right? Was it there or Gaura Hari Prabhu? I don't remember. In Golokadam, huh? There was this example that a snake bit Radharani, and a snake charmer uh, who can spell mantra only can relieve her, protect her. So mantras, yeah, one kind of khala. The snake can be pacified simply by mantras or by action of a particular herb. Mantra ushadi vasha sarpa khala kena nivaryate. An envious person, however, uh, envious person cannot be pacified by any means. This is what Chanakya Pandit says. A snake poison can be removed, but a person who is so envious, it's not possible. Cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of welfare of others. If the Krishna consciousness movement spread all over the world, and if by grace of Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious people will change, isn't it? Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays, Shivam Mita Diya, auspiciousness. What kind of auspiciousness? We want this welfare for everyone. In the material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of others. Everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, Bhajata Dadokshaje. As indicated elsewhere, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. Uh, and also in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta. One should constantly think at the lotus feet of the Lord, and in that way, one can attain uh, shelter, protection. Um, some people may argue, Prabhupada writes in the end, some people may argue if everyone thought of Krishna in that way. Sometimes people will debate, when we are talking about Satya Yuga, which is very pure, then everyone are devotees. When everyone were devotees, when they were praying to Krishna, then why are there people? First, why there are people in the next yuga, in the next yuga, in next yuga? After all, we were already doing all such wonderful prayers in previous life. Then we should all would have gone back to Godhead. Huh? The whole universe would be vacated because everyone would go back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. Innumerable. People may debate, how can it be possible? How can they be innumerable? Huh? When we have Sensex, we are saying the population of the globe is this, but we are only counting the population of this globe. We don't know the population, and that too we are not able to count the animals. We are not able to count how many fishes are there, how many aquatics, reptiles, and beast lives. We are only talking about human form of life. Whoever is that to have delivered a baby in a hospital, or whoever has done a registration, we know the population, but we don't know beyond that. Uh, so Srila Vishnuvaraj Chakravarti Thakur is saying that it's impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe. So this Krishna consciousness is an eternal yajna. Uh, it goes on and on. Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is going on and on. Uh, and then the next verse is Magara Daratmaja Vitta Bandhushu Sango Yadi Shad Bhagavat Priyeshuna Yah Prana Vritya Paritushta Atmavan Siddhyati Adhuran Na Tatendriya Priya. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person, right? It said such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. Indriya Priya, one who is very desiring, satisfying, it's very difficult. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested to explain the duty of a Vaishnava, he immediately said, Asat Sangat Yaga Vaishnava Achar. This is very important, and people may think it's discrimination. Huh? It's common sense. The common sense says if you cannot swim, don't jump into the water. You cannot associate it with water if you cannot swim well. Same. Here it's Asat Sangat Yaga. If we do not, if we want to be Sat, if we want to be Sadhu, if we want to be saintly persons, don't be with envious people, don't be with people who cannot, we cannot handle them. Asat Sangat Yaga ye Vaishnava Achar. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the association of persons who are not devotees of Krishna and who are too attached to the material things, wife, children, bank, and so on. Prahlad Maharaj also prays to the Lord that he may avoid the association of non. We are talking about Prahlad Maharaj himself is avoiding such association, uh, attached to the materialistic way of life. If he must be attached to someone, he prays to attached only to a devotee. Uh, this is also, it is not discrimination, it is not, what do you call this? Fanatism, it is not radicalistic ideas, it's not extremistic, yeah? It's not extremism, it is safe, it is a safe way how we need to lead a life. A devotee is not interested in unnecessarily increasing the demands of the senses. Of course, as long as one is in the material world, one must have a material body and it must be maintained for executing devotional service. The body may be maintained very easily by eating Krishna Prasadam. How Krishna is directing Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. When someone offers uh, Patram Pushpam Phalam, leaf, flower, Patram Pushpam Phalam, fruit, Toyam, water, with devotion. Yome Bhakta Prayachi Tadaham Bhaktya Upahritam Asnami Prayatatmanaha. He says that I am satisfied. The Lord is so easily satisfied. Uh, Devotees should eat as simply as possible. Otherwise, Attachment for material things will gradually increase, and senses, being very strong, will soon require more and more material enjoyment. Then the real business of life to advance in Krishna consciousness will stop. Yat sangalabdam nijavirya vaibhavam तीर्थम मुहु संस्कृताम ही मानसम हरति अजो अंत स्तुतिभिर्गत अंगजम को वै न सेवेत मुकुंद विक्रमम. Prahlad Maharaj is praying, by associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. So it is very important to associate with devotees. They are our shelter. They can give us shelter. They are our protection. Hmm. Why? Because they can take us to Krishna. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narration of the Lord's powerful activities, uh, the Lord, in the form of sound vibrations, enter within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. The symptoms of Bhagavatam is that one becomes fearless. The symptoms of Bhagavatam is one becomes purified. This is the potency of Bhagavatam. Why? Because this is none different from the Lord. Whereas if we are taking shelter of some novels, thinking that that can give me solace, that will only agitate our mind. Why? Because that goes only to the mind platform, not to the heart level. And because the heart is not transformed, if heart is not what you call pacified, uh, then we are undergoing all this tapatrayas, experiencing all the disturbances. Why? Because the mind is not settled. When the heart is satisfied in the service of the Lord, it's cleansed. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges, right now, what is happening? Mahakumbha Mela is going in India, the biggest ever gathering that one could see for bathing. Yeah, diminishes bodily contaminations and infections. This process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. I repeat this. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contamination and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Usually, we may have this nature of we want to travel, we want to see the places. Yeah, this is so nice because we are going, but I think it was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur who was saying just going. Hmm, where did we come across that? Um, that if one is making a touristic trip across the holy places, there was a nice, very, very nice comparison saying how foolish it is. I don't remember exactly, but it says that, yeah, one may go to the holy places. Yes, of course, we come across so many, even Prabhupada emphasizes the beauty of Vrindavan, Mayapur. These are the holy places. Even when we were reading Ajamil pastime, after Ajamil realized his mistake, he went to Haridwar, uh, Prayag, and at that time, Prabhupada is mentioning for Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Vrindavan, Mayapur is, yes, all this is fine, but do we have the eyes to see that? Do we have the appreciation of the holy places? It comes gradually after a very long time. The Dham has to bless us the vision, so that we can see that. But if we are just hopping across thousand temples, uh, from temple to temple with a strict timeline, then we cannot dive deep and it may take more time. But rather, if one takes to the narration, hearing of the Lord's powerful activities in the form of sound vibrations enter into our heart, then the contamination disappears just like. Therefore, it is Prahlad Maharaj is saying, therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life? Association of devotees makes the person to hear about Harikatha, to hear the name of the Lord, to hear the pastimes of the Lord, to know the glories, qualities of the Lord, and by that association, all the contamination is gone very, very quickly. But Prabhupada writes in the purport, bathing in Ganges can certainly cure one of many infectious diseases, but it cannot cleanse one's materially attached mind, which creates all kinds of contamination in material existence. However, One who directly associates with the Supreme Lord by hearing of his activities cleanses the dirt from his mind very soon, uh, and comes to Krishna consciousness. Very soon comes to Krishna consciousness. Sudha Goswami is saying in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam first, Shranvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidinoti hi shuha satam. This is what happens when the Supreme Lord within everyone's heart becomes very pleased when a person hears narration of his activities, and he personally cleanses the dirt from the mind of listener. Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidinoti. Hmm. This is what happens. He washes off all dirt from the mind. Material existence is caused by the dirty things within the mind. If one can cleanse his mind, he immediately comes to his original position of Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He gave to give everyone a chance to chant this Maha mantra, for simply by hearing Hare Krishna mantra, one becomes purified. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Therefore, our Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada writes, is chiefly engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra all over the world. We may think that, oh, this is quite boring. I can do maybe any other service. If it is coming to building a temple, raising funds for the temple, singing for the Lord, playing for the Lord, cooking for the Lord, all these things are quite nice. When it comes to chanting, no, here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, by engaging in this chanting, what is happening? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Uh, After one's mind becomes cleansed by chanting Hare Krishna, one gradually comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness and then read books like Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the Nectar of Devotion. These are four important books. Huh? We know that in those days when Prabhupada was giving initiations, he used to have four people reading all these four scriptures at that time, because that brings the most auspicious thing. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 18, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. This is what happens. This is irrevocable fact. It is said. All the great acharyas strongly recommend that people be given a chance to hear about the Supreme Lord, then success is assured. The more we cleanse the dirt of material attachment from our hearts, the more we will be attracted by Krishna's name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and activities. This is the sum and substance of Krishna consciousness movement. If someone is asking, of course, if someone who is interested to become a devotee, and if someone is a devotee, if he is asking what is the purpose of Krishna consciousness, the purpose is what? To clean our heart, yeah, by engaging in the chanting process, and after that to understand to develop the Krishna consciousness, to know about the Lord. That is the sum and substance. यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवत किंचन सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुरा हराव अभा तस्य कुतो महद्गुणा मनोरथे न सति दावतो बहिः. The question here is very important question. Sometimes we also come across when we are dealing with other people is all the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, yeah, we are talking about a person. Okay, let me say again. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service means one who is atheist, one who is not a devotee, and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. It is said that one who is not a devotee, he doesn't have good qualities. Come on, how can you say that? There are so many who are not devotees, but I see they are very good, they are truthful, they are very, very generous, they are very compassionate, they are helping, they speak very nicely, softly, and all these qualities. How can you say they don't have good qualities? Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such man? A person who is leading a life based on speculation, yeah, you may think if you ask him, he can come with his own concept of philanthropic idea. There are people who are suffering, there are people that they are doing this, and we should do that, we should do so many speculations. Yeah, what is the guarantee that speculation is approved speculation? uh, he must engage. If he is not engaging in the service of the Lord directly, because of his thoughts, he is still engaging in Lord's external energy. Means he is serving Maya. A person who is serving Maya, Prahlad Maharaj is challenging, how can then there be good qualities in him? It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time that all these qualities, yeah, that he has, because he is not using it in the right way, because he is mm, speculation. What do you call it? He is uh, creating his own way of living, which is not approved by Vedas. What happens? He is serving Maya. Then he has no chance. Rather, it is said all the demigods and their exalted qualities manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Means to a devotee, just if one is becoming a devotee, then all the good qualities of the devatas all will manifest automatically. One need not go and study Vedas, one need not practice explicit renunciation, but everything manifests him in him. Prabhupada says in the purport, Mavaivam Shiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mama Seshendiyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. He is saying, due to conditioned life, living entity in the world, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which include the mind. So the mind is the culprit. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore, when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all good qualities of Krishna in small quantity. When one engages himself in nine devotional services, process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, one's heart becomes purified and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. Then he revives in his original consciousness. So in that, I mean, purport is little long, and we go to the part where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 8th chapter, he is describing the qualities of devotees. Huh? He is very kind to everyone. He does not. There are these 26 qualities. Yeah, we also have in Bhagavad Gita. We are reading currently in the 16th chapter, right? In the 1 to 3 verse, there are 26 qualities. He is very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone um, his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. He is mild. He is always clean. He is without possessions. Anyway, this is a list of all uh, 26 qualities. Uh, all this. Uh, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish a Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. हरिर्हि साक्षात् भगवान् शरीरम् आत्मा झषानां ज्वतया sorry इव तय तोयम् ईप्सितम् आत्मा sorry हित्वा महान्तं यदि सज्जते गृहे तदा महत्त्वं वयसा दम्पतीनां. It said, just as aquatics always desire to remain in vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. This is what is happening. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations failed to take shelter of the Lord, Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to the material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. We should be very careful how we are dealing ourselves. We may say, hey, just now I have started my grihastha life. Life should be fully bliss with lot of balloons and flower bouquets. Yeah, so all this is what I want. And yeah, In this process, if one doesn't practice Krishna conscious life, which is grihastha, real grihastha life, we are keeping Krishna in the center, and our intentions and interests come in the center, then what is happening? Prahlad Maharaj is saying, one who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. And again, we have to struggle how to come back. Tasmad rajo raga vishada manyu uh, mana spruha bhaya dainyadi moolam hitva graham samstri chakravalam nrsimha padam bhajata kutobhyam iti bhajata kutobhyam iti. He's saying, therefore, O demons, give up all the so called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Enlightenment in family life is the root cause, sorry, entanglement. Oh, that's what. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment, indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and desire for false prestige, all of which result in repetition of birth and death. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts, anyone? Have anyone want to share something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, we heard that one should be careful in dealing with material life, like in family life. So, and we also hear that chanting the Maha Mantra or engaging in devotion service brings the quality of detachment automatically. But we also heard that one should be very careful in dealing in family life. So, does it not like that one can depend on chanting or activities in devotional life that detachment can come automatically and not to worry about like dealing in
One
family
of
life.
the one of the way how we can deal with the energy of material nature is not to get just worried with the challenges we have. Sometimes, na, when you just join a new company, you know how difficult it is, right? When you join a company, then the challenge is, oh, I need to know people, I need to know the work that I have to do, I need to, there's so much, and you need to also see, oh, I need to prove myself, otherwise, yeah, people may not know. So many things you have to bring your experience, you have to also understand the surroundings and all these things. And if we are not capable of it, what will happen is we are just overwhelmed and then we may not be able to do anything. But what is the best solution here is to start from somewhere, isn't it? We need to start finding, hey, is there someone who is very friendly who can explain me what is it about? Yeah. Don't we look for that? We look for some support, right? In such a overwhelming, challenging environment or circumstances, we look for some options through which you can start somewhere. If you have to take 100 steps, we don't just sit and then think, oh, 100 steps are impossible. Let's not do anything. No, we just start doing steps from step one, whatever it is, simple steps, baby steps, or even infant steps, whatever. We just have to start somewhere and we continue doing. That is first positivity. The first thing is that we should always look for positivity in how we deal with the situation. If we look for a hopeless situation, then we become more hopeless. If we are looking for a hopeful, how can we build that hope is by reading, by hearing, yeah, by chanting. These are the ways through which we can build that hope. And uh, I mean, of course, you were asking, I don't know if you were asking explicitly only for Grihastha life or in general, but let me first cover for in general. Yeah, is we shouldn't become more pessimistic and procrastinate ourselves that, oh, I am hopeless. Uh, I have been a failure all my life, and what is the chance that I may be successful now? I have tried so many resolutions for every year that didn't work. Uh, and after all, I know about me, and and in that way we can keep on saying so many things that will not solve our problem. The problem will only become bigger and bigger the more closer and closer you are. Just like if there is a small dot, the more closer we go, the small dot can seem to be bigger. Actually, it is because of the relative seeing. It's not that the point is becoming bigger. Yeah. So the approach here is that when we are situated in the um, Shastric understanding, when we take the shelter of the Shastras, what is happening is it gives us the support system through which we are saying, okay, if it is all alone myself to fight against the Maya, it's not possible. But I have also support in the form of Bhagavatam, in the form of chanting, in the form of association. When we take shelter genuinely, it's not like, okay, they are for namesake. I have a whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam volume, all the volumes in my at my home, and everything is, properly sealed in cover. That will not bring us much far. When we say we take the support system, we really are active. When we say association, devotee association means we have to go wherever it is. If it is challenging, still we manage to go and take association of devotees. And we also conduct programs such a way that we can give association of devotees. It's not that we are devotees, that's why we give that, but um, we we invite devotees so that we take shelter of them at our home. So in this way we take active support system. It's not like, okay, I'm drowning, come on, Dhamma Prabhu, I'm drowning in my all problems. How can I do such satsang? How can I go and attend programs? How can I invite others to I mean, first, how can I conduct such programs? No, we have to understand that we, when we know the value of it, when we know the worth of it, we understand the importance of it, significance in our life, then we give time. When we don't know all the value of it, we may not appreciate it, then we don't give time for it. So in that way, yeah, devotee association, Bhagavatam, what was the other one I said? Chanting. Yeah, when we are reading about the glories of the chanting, Harinama Chintamani, means we take shelter of the holy name. We understand the Lord and the name is non-different. We understand the chanting can bring us close to the Lord. We understand now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Cheto Darpana Marjanam. By chanting, heart is cleansed. So when we understand the importance of chanting, then we take shelter of chanting. So in this way, these are the support system through which we can logically, we may see, hey, how can this solve the problem of my bank balance issue? How can this solve the problem of my family? How can this? We may not be able to see there is a direct relation, but what happens is when we are taking to these practices, we mature the way how we see things. Just like a person who is playing chess, he may not see because of not having experience, not having expertise to play chess. But a person who has experience how to see, he can really win, isn't it? Similarly, we don't know how to handle this energy, material energy. So but when we are taking these support systems, then we understand, after all, this is the energy of Maya. After all, how can we win when we bring the real energy of Krishna? Uh, so then we bring Krishna in the center, then we bring Krishna in the top, and when we do that, what will happen is this mindset changes. When the because purification is happening, the mindset is changing. When the mindset is changing, the way that we deal with Maya or material energy changes. Then what happens is that entanglement also changes. So all these things we are not understanding, we are just thinking our limitations. We are not thinking what is the science. Just like when you put a coin, right? If there is this machines where you put a coin at any museum, if you rotate it, there is a wheel, and in the end you can see on that coin everything is printed. Have you seen that? No? Anyone seen that? In the museum
No.
there will be a machine, vending machine. Huh? Yes? No? Yeah. Um, maybe it's not everywhere, but yeah. So some of the museums where they have this, yeah, when you go, You just put your 1 coin or €2 coin, and then when you wind it across, then that is imprinted. Now we may think, hey, is it a magic? No, there is a whole lever that is rotating, that is printing, and there is whole science behind it. We don't understand that, we don't see, because of course some machines I have seen which are transparent to show what is happening so that kids can learn more. But this whole mechanism is working. Why? Because this is designed by the Lord. Yeah. So at a high level, first, this is what I was keen on mentioning about it. And at a next, yeah, I don't know, was your question about Grihastha life or?
Yes, Prabhuji. I mean,
But
the more attachment is there.
yeah, so yeah, how to get detachment is by seeing the life of devotees in Bhagavatam, in Puranas, and then we understand that yeah, after all, these are not folk tales, or what do you call this, fantasy. Yeah, no, in fact, there are devotees, and why that happened to them is because Lord is empowering. The Lord is making arrangements such a way that He can advance in devotion, because Lord is not cruel, because Lord is very compassionate. Lord is very eager that He wants us back. It is only our attachments. And as I said, when we are thinking our conditioning is so strong, so strong, forget it. Let us give more Krishna. Let us become more Krishna conscious. The more we become Krishna conscious, the less we will be Maya conscious, which means the more we are thinking about Krishna, the more we are just taking to this process of bhakti. What is happening is, yeah, the space that you are giving for these things is increased, and what happens is then the uh, other things, yeah, they will be there. Yeah, so maybe one may have sexual interest, or one may have to become greedy interest, like one want to become very rich. All these things, yeah, are there, and from there, when we are coming out, there might be that, okay, yeah, come on, this is so strong, how can I overcome that? The easy way is to what we have to do, rather than thinking what we shouldn't do. What we shouldn't do, let's handle it later. First, what we should do, let's do it. Yeah, what is that? Chanting and following four regulative principles, uh, taking shelter of Bhagavatam, the five principles, yeah, five things that we can do, visiting holy places, uh, in the association of devotees, not just like a tourist. So all these things will help us to gradually understand that these things, yeah, they are there. It's not that, yeah, when we're talking about Vishwamitra Muni, we're talking about great personalities. Even they succumb to sense enjoyment sometime. Yeah, when they, what about us? Yeah, impossible, huh? No, it's not impossible. We are just trying to give as much as possible. The good thing is, if we are not successful in this life, nothing is lost. We are starting it from where we left in the next life. Neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo avidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Yeah, so there is no loss, but what we have to do is we have to continue believing in this, having faith in this principle, and giving our best, whatever. When we fall, that's okay. We'll again give more, so that this fall down, when this fall down is happening every day, maybe after 1 year, if the fall down is happening once a while, uh, and after 2 years, even less, after 3 years, yeah, you're not even thinking that, yeah. So that's how we gradually overcome these attachments in the family life. Yeah, Adira Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I don't know, did you answer, or already
Yes,
answer was so
Prabhuji.
long that you say, okay.
No, no, long answer is good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Jyoti has put a question. Who can read it? When we do chanting, do we have to follow
Prabhuji, I
any?
mean, like when we do the chanting, do we have to follow, like sankalpa or like timings, like early morning or any time when we get time, we can do this. That is my question. I
Um,
mean, how long one should do that?
um, hmm, what are the guiding principles for chanting? Is that your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, that is my question.
Okay. Yeah, the guiding principle, yeah, it is that one should be attentive in chanting. One should understand the purpose or the meaning of chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is that, oh Lord Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. That is the meaning of it. Yeah, which means even if we are not, yeah, if the mantra is there, the intention is always there, and for the intention you are not just thinking, oh, is this right time, is it right place, should I be like that, should I be like this. To remember the Lord, there is no restriction at all. There is no such restrictions. One can be in any state of consciousness. One can engage in this. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, where we are now, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. Why it is said so is in Kali Yuga, everything is contaminated, right? Yeah, our mind is contaminated, always attached. Maybe we may think, no, let us do some purification, yajna. Let the yajna purify the house. Let the yajna purify the surroundings. Let the yajna purify my mind. Let the yajna purify my heart. But who is the one who is performing such yajna when he himself is not pure? Yeah, in Kali Yuga, it's not so easy to find priests who are of top class who can perform such a best of its kind yajna. Even if he is there, what about the ingredients? Is the ghee? If you can already start looking certified, what do you call this? The best pure, most pure ghee. Can we get that? And samitas to get proper wood. Yeah, wood is already required for making houses. Where is the chance to get wood for? Anyway, in that way, we can see that we may not find right priest, we may not find right ingredients, and in spite of having everything perfect, you know what is the price tag, right? The price tag is super high. Yeah, why? Because it's a bio wood, bio ghee, bio organic. Yeah, and in that way, everything is very costly. uh, so, and then in spite of having all that, you also need a right time, right? A suitable time. So in that way, how many times can we really do such a proper yajna? Yeah, that's why it is said in for the Kali Yuga, especially Kali Yuga, where the lifespan of human is not as as what do you call, as long as um, in other yugas, and the remembrance capacity is not so much. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya, uh, and also we are not so fortunate in this yuga. So what is best is to take the holy name. Why? Because it can be chanted everywhere. Kevalam, Hare Namayeva Kevalam. I can share that. I mean, I still I don't know if I have your contact, but there is Keval Astakam, which is saying how glorious is the chanting of the holy name, and um, for that there are no hard and fast rules how to chant. Yeah, we may think, oh, we have to take bath, and you know what, and we shouldn't do on special days. Why? Because it's very inauspicious or unclean. Um, no, chanting can be done in any circumstance. Why? Because it is calling out the Lord, please engage me in your service. Oh Lord, please save me. Uh, for that kind of prayers, do we really want to find a suitable time?
Yes, I understood now. Yes.
So it's just, yeah, we are just calling the name. Why? Because the Lord is fully present in His name. So we are invoking the Lord through this chanting process and asking Him, begging Him, please give me shelter. Please engage me in your service. That's all what I want.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Any last question, or otherwise also we can close this call? Yeah, if we are fine, then thank you very much for joining. Tomorrow we'll have our regular systematic study of Vedic scriptures. In that Bhagavad Gita, we are discussing about the Asura, discussing about Asura Varna. How are they thinking? What are they doing? And which means how much of demonic nature is in us? How to overcome that. That's what we'll cover tomorrow 9 o'clock. Yeah. Thank you very much. Vanchakalparabhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandhara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.